Game is not acknowledging the special scent women wear around themselves and on themselves called bullshit. What this bullshit is, it's called power. Power. Women have more power than men do. What I say is women are ethereally more powerful. In all societies, it looks like women have more power. Damn near. You have to understand that when somebody has more power than you and they know it, that means something. Women understand that they have more power than you do. That's not talked about enough in game. Why would you walk up to somebody and cold approach them like you're some kind of alpha male when you damn well know they have more power than you do? It's because you don't damn well know that. You're not taught to meditate on that and to understand that well enough to understand you need to be scared. Uneven power means uneven treatment. Women know, they more than think, they know for a fact. Okay, women more than think, they know for a fact that they are privileged over you. This is the scent that they wear. This is what you call their bullshit. What's with all the bullshit? Because you guys haven't had a discussion. Women normally don't have this discussion with you. The discussion is, I am privileged and you are not. I am privileged and you are a slave. Men are too freaking smart and dangerous to have privilege. Men are regulated in society just like a gun is regulated. In comparison to a woman, a man is a lethal weapon. Therefore, regulation has been built into society, and it's unsaid. It's unsaid because if it was said, men would operate differently and not fall into the pitfalls, into the traps that they fall into. Men are too strong and too intelligent to tell them how things actually work. So you're not told. It's been built into society not to tell you that you're a slave, that you're too strong, and you have to carry yourself a certain way because you're too dangerous. You're not supposed to know that subconsciously. You're not supposed to know that you're being regulated even though you've done nothing wrong. Guns have done nothing wrong. They're used and they're regulated. Okay? They're regulated to make sure they don't get misused. Because if they are misused, somebody could end up dead. Gun regulation is known. People know that guns are regulated because guns don't have consciousness. Men do. Men are conscious of their existence and they have thoughts. So the regulation is kept secret. Okay? Women are part of the masculine regulation process. They regulate men unfairly as well. Why is this done? In fact, the most upright, righteous men are regulated the most. Why? What's the deep, dark reason why? If a man goes rogue, there could be casualties. If a good guy turns evil, there could be casualties. Period. It's bad enough if a bad man goes rogue, like Elliot Rodgers. Okay? As far as we know, he wasn't even a good guy. As far as I can tell. He pretended to be, but he wasn't a good person, as far as I can tell. Game doesn't want to go deep into the reasons things are the way they are. Game just wants to pretend things are different than the way they really are. There are no freaking alpha males. Okay? And there's something that I'm hesitating to say, that I'm itching to say, but I won't say it. Because that's too deep of information. I'm not going to go into that, ever. But what I will say is, the rabbit hole is deep and dark. And there are solutions to get you what you want. One of the big solutions is to get real. Stop lying to yourself. Admit that women have a scent of bullshit because they're more powerful than you. Okay, so why are women more powerful than you? Why has society given them more power other than the reason that you're naturally too dangerous? I'm not allowed to tell you that either. If you figure it out, you figure it out. But that I'm not allowed to tell you. It's too deep. But what I can tell you is that men are quite dangerous. Quite dangerous. Okay? Men actually are more dangerous than women. And men actually want to be more dangerous than women. Okay? Society has figured things out completely. Okay? Things have been figured out by somebody completely. Okay? I'm one of those people who has the ability to figure things out completely to completion. And there are other people, there have been other people, and there will be other people who can figure things out. Maybe not on my level, because I'm really not saying much. I'm one of the few people who's figured things out completely that's actually talking about it. And you guys are lucky that way. And part of that is because of what I've gone through. If my life had been different, I would have kept my mouth shut. But now it's time for a little revenge. A little revenge. As a paranormalist, as an occultist, I understand what the supernatural is. And for a lot of you, what you're looking for is the supernatural. Back in the olden times, people who were supernatural, they would learn to spell words, the spells that they needed to learn. You don't know what I'm talking about, but just listen. And they would stay to their own kind. They would use those spell words to strengthen themselves in times of battle and so forth and so on. And as long as they stayed in their element, they would be what they were. An ogre or an elf. A hobbit or whatever they were. They lived an unnatural life of bliss. And they stayed in their element. Okay? Now, you don't know what I'm talking about probably, because you're probably not an occultist, and even if you are, you probably haven't gone far deep enough into the occult to take what I'm saying seriously. So don't take it seriously. Just take the lesson from this. Back in the olden days, people learned to stay in their element and to stay towards their own people. They would stay gifted and stay strong and stay powerful as long as they stayed within their own land. And they did not go out and deviate to other people's, because other people's ways are foreign to them. And their ways are foreign to other people's, maybe. And they would get mistreated and brought down in stature. And so you have to learn in anti-game to know who your people are and to stay within your own elements. You're strong within your elemental powers, within your elements. Going outside of your elements, going outside of your land, talking to foreign people, that could bring you down in stature. So, America is a melting pot of people mixed together. It's hard for people to categorize who their people are. Okay? For me, I'm someone who has Celtic and Egyptian ancestry. So if you look at me, especially when I'm at my normal weight, you can definitely see the Celtic and the Egyptian if you are an anthropologist. But other people might just think I'm black. Okay, most people are the race that they look like. They're not mixed. If you thought most people were mixed, you're wrong. They're not. Over 88% of people are the race that you think they are. They're not mixed. They don't have ancestry of other people. Okay? So because of my ancestry, my Celtic and Egyptian ancestry, I'm different. Who are my people then? That matters. People of Celtic ancestry and Egyptian ancestry are my people as well. Not native black people, actually. Because of how my genetics have come together, I have to look at people who are Celtic, who are pale-skinned, blue-eyed, lean, plush, polished, pale skin, highly intelligent, sharp-eared. It may seem silly to you, but those anthropological differences make all the difference in your life. By knowing who to talk to visually, you can save your life. You have to stay within your element and stay within your people. Okay? You have to be cool with people who are going to be cool with you. You have to know who those people are. Even if you think you're a different race, you might have other ancestry within your race, and that might be dominant within your genetics. You might be a white guy instead of a black guy. Okay, you might be a white girl instead of a black girl. Because just because you look primarily like one race doesn't mean that's what's working in your genetics. You may have other stuff going on that's more dominant, which will explain your gifts, your abilities, who you are. Anomalies do happen. Okay, so I do understand what people are saying when they try to say that black genes are genetically dominant, but they're not, though. They're not dominant genetics at all. The most dominant genetics are European genetics. These are just facts. So I'm not interested in appealing to certain people I'm interested in facts. Okay, because you need to know the facts in order to come to the correct conclusions about things. Okay. There's an ambulance or a fire truck or something. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, back in the olden days, all these supernatural stories about elves, ogres, and so forth, they were people who had the genetics to do certain things that most people could not do, and so they stayed within their groups. And so you had the elven tribes, the ogres, and so forth. These people actually existed. And when I say spell words, there are certain spell words. We're going to the occult here, so you don't have to take this part seriously. Just take the story seriously, the lesson learned. Okay, the lessons that you can gain. The spell words would strengthen them in times of combat or even love and make them stronger so that they could do things with their genetics that they normally couldn't do, even though they were gifted over everybody else. So that's the little spiel about what the spell words did. The reason I'm mentioning spell words is because there are certain ways of being called your culture that make you stronger. When you stay within your genetic culture. See, cultures they spring from genetics. The reason Italians or Mexicans are considered spicy, they're spicy individuals, has to do with their genetics. Okay, Irish individuals are seen as very fiery, with fiery personalities because of their genetics. So when I talk about spell words, you can liken that to culture. Certain words and certain ways of being jive better with your genetics. Does this make any sense to you guys? This is what I mean. If you talk to the wrong woman, you will use the wrong words. You may talk like this: "Hey, how are you doing? I was just wanting to talk to you." You might talk like that because you're nervous, for one. And for two, your genetics are not jiving with the person. Do you ever wonder why your voice goes high and you say really stupid things like that to a woman that you consider beautiful? Because she's not of your tribe. And your genetics are warning you not to have anything to do with her. And you're cursing yourself by using words that you normally wouldn't use and by being a way that you normally wouldn't be. Okay? But it's hard for you to be yourself. Okay? When people in game teach you to be grounded and to stand your ground, you're doing that unnaturally. You become grounded with women not of your tribe, and so you're able to talk to them better and control your voice better, but you're not jiving with their genetics, and it doesn't work out. You can end up having false allegations towards you because you rubbed a woman the wrong way. She didn't like you because you're from a different tribe. Okay? You'll have enough trouble from women who are from your tribe. You don't need to get in trouble from women who aren't in your tribe. You can get falsely accused from women in your tribe too. But it's worse when they're not from your tribe. If you can get with a woman from another tribe, you're banking on the possibility, no, the fact that she's genetically inferior to her tribe. Okay? A woman only wants to be with somebody from her tribe, whether she knows that or not. If she's genetically fit, she'll be with somebody with her tribe. And so will you. So getting with women from the wrong tribe, you're getting with someone who's genetically inferior to the rest of their tribe, who's genetically inferior, period. And that's not something you want to do. There are consequences.